Good morning, and thank you so much for spending 1 hour of your time this beautiful Saturday morning. I appreciate everybody's here with us. My name is Patricia Yvonne. I am the Richfield Police Department liaison with the GCPP, Joint Community Police Partnership, for the Hennepin County. Today we have Marquisha Perry from Victory in Praise, and she's also a PMAC member, Police Multicultural Advisory Committee, and she's going to be the mediator. Thank you so much, Keisha. And we also have Jenny Escalante from the University of Minnesota, and also a PMAC member, in charge of the questions we are receiving in the chat today. I want to thank you two, Keisha and Jenny, for planning, for your hard work, dedication, organizing this amazing event. Thank you so much. Now I like to introduce our two officers, Supani Chamabonga, I hope I say that right, and Miguel Esquivel, who will be answering your questions today. And I want to thank you both for taking time away from your busy schedules and accepting this invitation. While we have some questions today that we could not answer, we will be working to get these answers shortly.
Thank you, Patricia, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. Welcome you all. Thank you all for, again, joining us today. Again, like she stated, we will go over the questions that were sent out. We did a flyer. Those questions were submitted through a registration and some via email. Again, as she stated, that some of those questions we will not be able to answer at this time. So if you notice that your question didn't get answered, we are working on those questions. We didn't eliminate them. We just can't answer them for you on today. So we will start off with our officers here, and we will just have them to introduce themselves. So give us your name again, how long you've been on the force, and then what has you interested in becoming, or had you interested in becoming an officer.
I'll start off first. My name is Supani Tamavongsa. I've been an officer with the Richfield Police Department here for 26 and a half years. But I've been with the department since 1993, so a long time. I started out as a community service officer and then got promoted to police cadet and then a police officer in 1995. The reason I became a police officer, especially for the city, I love the community. I love the city of Richfield. I grew up in South Minneapolis, but most of my families back then lived in Richfield. So I wanted to help people, wanted to help the community that I live in, help people here.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Officer Esquivel. I'm pretty new, so I started in September 2019, so I'm coming up to my 2-year mark with the department. I don't have as much background with the city as Officer Tamavangsa here has, but when I was applying for jobs after I graduated from college, I looked at Richfield and I liked how the community was really diverse, and I feel like I could use my second language in the city, and that is one of the main reasons why I applied for the city. Also, as well as me wanting to help people out and be there and encourage more of Hispanics to enter the law enforcement career.
Awesome. Thank you both for introducing yourself. I greatly appreciate that. And we will, because we only have an hour and we want to make sure that we answer all questions. And if there is any questions that are posed in the chat, as we go through the list of questions that we already have, if we have enough time, we will answer those questions within the chat. So the first question that the community had is, what should I do if I am pulled over? And either one of you officers can answer that.
Well, I can start. So when you're getting pulled over, it can be a stressful situation. You might get really nervous and not know what to do. But some things that you can do to make this traffic stop go by smooth is as soon as you see those red and blue flashing lights behind you, is stay calm, take deep breaths, and whenever it's safe to do so, just pull over to the right shoulder whenever it's safe to do so, right? So most of the times, always try to pull over to the right shoulder. I know some people get confused of where to go, but the safest spot is always the right shoulder. Try not to stop in the middle of the lane. Once you come to a complete stop, the officer will get out his squad and make contact with you at your driver's side. So just remain in your car the whole time. Don't open the door. Don't start looking around in your car for your wallet or insurance. You'll get to the point where the officer will ask for it. But before that, just keep your hands on the steering wheel and try not to move. Tell the passengers in your car to just stay calm and not start moving around and whatnot. Once the officer talks to you, they'll introduce themselves, like, hey, I'm Officer Esquivel from the city of Richfield. They'll give you a reason of why you got pulled over. Then they'll ask you for your license and insurance. At that time, it is usually nice if you tell them, like, hey, yeah, my wallet's in this backpack in my passenger seat. Just let them know that you're going to go ahead and grab it from the backpack. And they'll more than likely be like, okay, and they'll let you reach, and just let them know what movement is going to be trying to do. It just keeps us safe. It keeps you safe. That way nobody gets jumpy or anything like that. Once we get your insurance and verify it's valid and everything is good, we'll walk back to the squad, do routine police checks, make sure you have a valid license. And at that point, we'll decide if you're going to get a citation or not, depending on what you got pulled over for, right? Most of the stops are just if you have like some equipment violation, like a tail light out or something, or your taps are expired, which are most of the stops are just to let you know, hey, your tail light is off, try to get it fixed, right? Safety issues. We'll walk back to the squad, give you your driver's license back, just explain to you exactly why you got pulled over and make sure you correct that problem. But yeah, the whole time, just try to remain calm. The officer will walk back to their squad. Once the officer goes back to the squad and they turn off the lights, you're free to go. Just little things where just stay calm the whole time. Don't start looking around. Don't start going under your seats. We don't know what you have inside your vehicle. I mean, some people could have maybe knives down there, weapons. We don't know that, right? And that's where we get nervous too. So that's why it's good to just keep your hands on your steering wheel. Tell your passengers to keep their hands on the dashboard, on the back of the seat if they're in the back, stuff like that. If there's anything you want to add.
And our goal is to have a positive interaction during that traffic stop. There'll be times where we stop people for tail light outs or brake light outs, especially during the winter times. It's a safety issue. So we'll stop and just to let you know that your brake light's out. It's a safety hazard. People can't see when it's snowing really hard or raining really hard. So it's important for us to stop you and let you know that. So just like Officer Esco said, just stay calm, and we want to have a positive interaction. So.
Well, thank you both. That was in great detail, and I really appreciate you providing that information for us. The second question that I have is, how are you addressing the racial bias training that is required?
We do have a yearly training. Prior to COVID, we would have our department training 4 times a year. And during those trainings, we have people come out. We have our lieutenants come out and give us those trainings, updated laws and things like that. What's important to the community and what feedback we have from the community to better our departments. We also take monthly training online where all of us have to go through implicit bias training, things like that, just to keep us informed, learn new things, learn new culture and things like that to keep us informed and that we're there for the community.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Just a short thing that I wanted to add as well too is to let our audience know that this is being recorded. I failed to mention that during my introduction, so I just kind of wanted to let everyone know that this is being recorded. This information will be shared via the Facebook group that the department has, or their actual main department website, or YouTube as well too. So just to inform you all that this conversation is being recorded, so you can go back and see the information in these questions that are being answered as well too. So we'll move on to our next question, which is, how is Richfield Police Department working with the community during the crisis of the time?
And so it's been really hard to go out in the community due to COVID and not having a lot of community orienting events out there, right? So, and then especially with all the events that's been going on in Minneapolis and whatnot, but we've been taking all the concerns from the community. Some of those concerns were that the community didn't have access to like the use of force policies or our policy manual from the department, and we heard that concern. One of the things that the police department did was publish those the use of force policies in our policy manual on our city website, and it can be accessed by anybody. Now that all these restrictions are getting lifted from COVID, it's going to be easier to have our community events again and go out and have like coffee with a cop and stuff like that. But just because of COVID, it did restrict a lot of things, but we still get waved down out in the street, and we still have conversations with the community. So it didn't fully stop our interaction with the community, but we were still out there.
And when we're driving around on the street, feel free to wave us over, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. And it's nice to have that interaction going. And so, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The next question we have is, how would you describe the relationship the department has with the community?
Overall, I think we have a very good relationship. Like I had just mentioned, when I'm driving around on the city street, people wave me over. I'm thinking, oh, it's an emergency, they need help. But no, they just want to say thank you for your service, and that was it. I'll be stopped at a light. Just the other day, somebody pulled up to me and said, "I just want to say thank you," and that really helps, and it helps us, keep going, coming to work, do what we want to do, and that is to help people.
Yeah, it keeps us encouraged. We know that we have the community to back us up if we need help out there with anything. Um, like I said, we haven't really had a lot of community events due to COVID, but hopefully that should be changing as things start changing here with the pandemic. But we also get a lot of like thank you cards from like schools and the kids from schools for officers, and people stop by and drop off donuts as a thank you and stuff like that at the police department. So we feel the love from the community out here. So
Well, that's awesome. I just want to add, is that information on like the website, like when you said that coffee with the cops and things like that, is those activities listed where the community can know what activities are available?
Yes, that's on the city and department website, Facebook.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. I didn't know, so I wanted to know that. Our next question is, how many diverse officers are there in the department?
We have about 12 officers. I should mention that when I first started, I was the first minority officer with the Richfield Police Department. And that was in 1995 when I became a police officer. And for a while, for years, I was the only police officer on the road, female police officer, female and minority. And now we have 12 officers out of 47 officers, 47 including lieutenants, sergeants, and the chief.
Oh, awesome. Did you want to add to that? Oh,
no, I just like that department is really diverse, just like the community is, and I feel like that helps a lot. So
oh, awesome. Thank you for that. And our next question is, how is the department implementing the police or the community policing?
Well, like it's been hard, like you've been mentioning, but right now, really, the community policing that we've been doing is just driving around and getting waved down by people and just having conversations with them and people who are expressing their concerns. And those concerns are always directed over to our command staff, and everybody's aware of them. So we're always working ahead to get those concerns across. Just like yesterday, me and my partner had we met up with some kids at Target that wanted some stickers, but we ran out of stickers. So they told us where they lived, and we ended up meeting in their apartments. They lived in this apartment complex. They gathered a bunch of their friends, and then we met with them there. We kept out stickers, and then we let them see our squads, which was really nice. So we're doing little things like that right now.
Okay, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Um, can I add one thing to that? Do you guys still give out like those coupons for like the bike riders with the helmets and things like that?
Um, Not at this moment, but we do have a program where it's called Lights
That's
Out.
all.
We'll stop cars when they have tail lights out and or brake lights out, and we'll give out those vouchers so that people can get their cars fixed for free. And
Mhm.
one of my traffic stop when I stopped somebody over, at first they were upset, they were stressed out, and then when I gave them the coupon, the voucher, they were like, "Oh, I'm glad I got stopped today." So it was a positive interaction.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Our next question is, what is the strategic plan of the Richfield Police Department to gain the trust of the community?
You know, what's important is transparency. The things we do, we now have the body cameras. We've always had cameras on our squad for over 15 years, but I don't think a lot of people know that. But now we have the body cameras so that there's, if there's a problem, people can come in and ask our department, did the officer do the right thing? Did we do the right thing? And if they have those concerns, that could be made available to them.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And I think there was a question that was in our chat or Yini wanted to ask.
So Megan Olson, she had a follow-up question. What would be the best possible relationship with the community look like to you beyond saying hi to community members?
Well, I think also, beyond saying hi is um, when there's a crime happening, um, be the one to call us, report report the crime. Your neighbors would appreciate that. We've been getting a lot of phone calls from people saying, "Oh, my neighbor's out of town. There's somebody standing in their yard that doesn't belong. Can you come out and check on that?" So things like that. Where when we go there, there's the community is out there um, calling us, telling us what's going on, because we don't know that, we know the neighborhood, but we don't know who lives there. It could be you know a stranger, it could be a burglar, and your eyes and ears are perfect to tell us that that's not my neighbor. He or she doesn't belong there. So it's good to have that communication and interaction.
Yeah, it would be good to hear from that community. Like when we get called to calls, maybe somebody fighting out in the street or something, and people running or whatever. Um, we're not most of the time, or pretty much all the time. We're never in that area when things happen, right? So, and a lot of community might be walking around or something. So, just having them call the police and seeing what they saw or letting us know when we arrive on scene or stuff like that. That would be very nice.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And let's go to our next question is, the community would like to build a relationship with the Richfield Police Department. How do you build trust between the police and the community?
I think the best policy is always communication. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what you want to see us do better. So tell us that so that we can improve our department, our city, and overall our community, so that there's trust between us.
Is there a place for us to have those? I think there's a question in there too, but is there a place where we could let our concerns out? Like, do you guys have a concern box? Is there somewhere we can drop those off, or is online, or?
That part I'm not sure, but I know that one of our lieutenants gets questions via Facebook. He answers them through Facebook. Um, so I'm not sure if there's other questionnaires or Dropbox that we have. Like, I can certainly have somebody follow up on, and maybe Patricia can forward that information to you.
Okay, no, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. And then the next question is, what are the rights of a person when they get arrested?
Well, when you get arrested, you'll get what is called the Miranda rights read to you, which a lot of people have heard, like from movies. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you and all against you. But you have the right to a lawyer. The one thing, like I mentioned, you have the right to remain silent. The one thing that you would have to do is identify yourself. Not identifying yourself it's a crime with itself, because you're abstracting with the legal process of police. So whenever you get asked to identify yourself by police, it's a good thing just to do it, because it impedes our job, so you can get arrested for it. But
Just to add on to that, when Officer Esco mentioned the difference between movies and real life is that people just assume that once we put the handcuffs on, we have to read them their rights. That's not the case at all. When we're questioning you about the crime itself, then legally we have to inform you of those rights. But when we're arresting you, putting the handcuffs on, we're just arresting you for the probable cause of the crime that we believe you committed. We'll put you in the back seat of the squad. We'll transport you to whether it's our jail or directly to Hennepin County Jail. So that's the process. But if we're not asking you specifically about the crimes you committed, we're not going to read you those rights.
Thank you. I have a follow-up for that. Are these rights listed where someone can kind of just know what those rights are? Do we have a place where we could find out like our rights as citizens?
Oh, absolutely. You can even pull it up online. Just go
yeah.
the Miranda rights, just rights as a citizen. You can pull that up, and it'll have bullet points of what those are.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for that. All right. And our next question here is, how can the community help the Richfield Police Department reduce the crime in our city?
I would say probably just make crime prevention and safety a daily thing. If you're leaving your house in the morning for work, make sure all your doors are locked or your windows are locked, which prevents from people going into your house. Whenever you park your vehicle out on the street or your driveway, make sure it's either locked or in a well-lit place, but locks is always the best thing. Car prowlers are going around, and if your car is locked, they're not going to bother with the car. They usually just go with cars that are unlocked and easy to get to. I know that we have information in the City of Richfield website, which lists a lot more preventative information for crime prevention. If you see anything suspicious out in your neighborhood, like a person walking up to cars that you've never seen before and it's not from your neighborhood, call it in. Anything that you feel like is suspicious, call it in, and we'll go out there and investigate and see what's going on.
And just to add on to that, I always tell my family, even though you have a duffel bag that's, there's nothing valuable in there, the thieves are not going to know what's in there. So either put it in the trunk or take it with you. Don't leave anything that people might think it's valuable. A wallet that doesn't have any money or credit card in it. Just don't leave anything that gives people the thought that there might be something valuable. They might break into your cars just because of that.
Thank you for that. The next question is there a number where we can get a faster response for general questions?
Yeah, if you can find the answer to the question that you're looking for on our city website, you can call the front office help desk. with the phone number 612-861-9800 with any general questions. Now, if it's an emergency, you always just want to call 911 directly, which you'll get a faster hold of us. But yeah, if you can't find that answer to that question in our website, which we have a lot of information on there, probably just calling the front desk will get you to somewhere to get the answer to your question. So.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And the next one is, how is the department working with the youth that are still interested in being a police officer?
We have what is called an Explorers program, and we have quite a few teens that are in that program. I want to say 27 plus people. And when in that program, they get to learn about traffic stops, answering domestic calls. There's competitions. Well, not this year, last year because of COVID, but they would have a yearly competition. Sometime it's going to be in Rochester, sometime up north in Bemidji, where they would compete with other departments on how to respond to 911 calls, how to do traffic stops, how to make entry into search warrants, so things like that. So it's something that I would totally recommend teenagers to sign up so that they can learn what police officers do, and that if that's what they want to do in the future, then it would be a great start.
Yeah, and that program is available for teenagers from the ages from 14 to 20. So, yep, another great option will be going on ride-alongs too, just to see what the job will be like.
Okay, awesome. And that information is on the website where they could sign up or find out more information?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And this next one is a two-part question. And it says, what job opportunities are currently available at the Richfield Police Department? And then what volunteer opportunities does the department have?
Well, the jobs can be found online. I don't know exactly what jobs are being offered by the city right now, but you can definitely go online and all the jobs will be listed on there.
And we do also have a volunteer program. It's called Police Reserves, and that's citizens that volunteer their time to help out, whether it's doing home checks, it's patrolling the neighborhood, doing extra patrol, or if need be, if officers are out on whether it's an accident scene and cars needs to be towed, they're there to help with the towing process, blocking traffic, and you'll see them too also at events like the 4th of July. They're there. The police reserves are there to direct traffic, direct people where to go, help kids if they're lost, and help parents find their kids if they're lost.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then you spoke about this already, but it says, can we go on police ride-alongs?
Yes, you can. We were having restrictions due to COVID, but I believe those restrictions are being lifted or are going to be lifted soon. But you can always come into the police department and ask for ride-alongs, and we can probably find something out. I believe you have to be 16 years old to be able to do a ride-along. But yeah, you can always come in and ask.
The ride-alongs will get approved by our lieutenants. There are some stipulations. You have to work in the city of Richfield, live in the city of Richfield, law enforcement students, and there are a couple others too that's going to be on our website as well.
Okay. And just to add to that, you stated that they have to be 16. Do that 16-year-old have to have some type of permission from their parent at that time? Is there like an application?
Yeah, if you were to ride along and your ride-along would get accepted by the lieutenant, there's a form that we fill out at the police station when you get dropped off by your parents, if you're at 16 or under 18. And it'll be like a consent form that the parents will have to sign.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. The next question is, how do I file a complaint against a police officer?
Well, there's a complaint form on our city website. So you can either fill it out on the city website that will get forwarded to our administration, lieutenants or the sergeants, or you can come into the police station and fill a form out too. another way that you can do is call the front desk too and ask to speak to a sergeant and get your concerns out there.
Thank you. And then this one is kind of a three-part question. And it says, how many security cameras are in the city? And then the next part is, where are they located? And then the follow-up for that is, when did they first install cameras?
We don't have security cameras for the city that we are aware of. I know that there are cameras that MinDOT has put up along the freeways, and those cameras are live. A lot of times when you drive by the intersections at the light, there's what it's called an opticom. People think that those are cameras. They're actually opticons that officers in their police squad can change lights while they're going red lights and siren to an emergency call. So those things are for us to change the lights from red to green so that it's safe for us to travel through those intersections going to an emergency calls.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I will ask Yini, is there any other questions in the chat before we close down or get to our last question? I only have one other question here.
Yes, there is a question by Jamie. How does the department feel about bringing on trained mental health professionals to take over wellness checks and respond to mental health emergencies, rather than armed officers being dispatched to those calls?
Well, I feel like that's a good idea. So right now we have an embedded social worker that got hired back in September of 2020. So the social worker doesn't respond to those mental health calls. We still do, but we can forward that information to her, and then she follows up with that people to get them help and see what she can do to help them, which I feel like has been a very helpful resource that we've used a lot since she started. Do you want to add anything?
I think it's a very good idea, and to have that type of support, it's good for us and it's good for the community as well. So I believe in it.
Thank you. Was there others, Yini?
No, there was not.
All right, thank you. So our last question here, we kind of finished earlier than what we expected, was, what is your message? And this is for both of you guys to elaborate on. What is your message to the community?
Well, I just want to appreciate everybody's help out there. Thank you for coming and for showing up in the Zoom meeting, right? Well, I just want to say that the Richfield Police Department is honored to serve the community with integrity and hard work. We, like we explained, try to express your concerns if we've listened to them, and we work hard to accommodate to all those concerns and become a better department to serve that community. And I'm really enjoying this law enforcement career, and I'm still learning every day. And it's never stop learning career. So just hearing from the community makes officers better.
Great, perfect. And you?
Like I had mentioned earlier, I've been with the department and the city for a long time now. I enjoy coming to work. I enjoy serving our community. I love this community. My family used to live here, and I still come to work, and I try to work hard to make sure that our community get the best services that it deserves. So.
Awesome. Thank you both for being with us on today. I think I had one other, I have Bryce from Oak Grove Church, if he would like to speak.
Yeah. I'm going to stand right behind you two guys. Hey, I'm so grateful for this city. I've lived here 31 years, and I've been with first responders now for almost 17 or 18 years. I've worked as a chaplain, and I've really seen how we've grown and changed and been very adaptive. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm hoping that you realize that we're responsible for our own city. And we get to be in partners with these beautiful people. And I sure think and pray for and love Soup and Miguel a lot, and very grateful for how they've touched my life. And I know how they've made a difference in other people's lives. So God bless you all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Praise. Was there any other questions, Jenny, in our chat at all?
No.
All right. Well, that concludes our questions for today. I don't have anything that I would like to add as far as the questions. I think that they were really great questions. It's an honor to have had this forum and to be able to just chat, and the openness that you both gave with your responses to these questions. And it is greatly appreciated, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And we are new to the community as far as our church. I've lived in Richfield probably over 20 years, but our church is now a part of the Richfield community, which makes me even more excited because I do love our community as well too. And that's Victory and Praise. And it's right off of 76th and off of West 76th Street. But again, I thank all of you that joined in today. Our questions were from our registration that we had out there, and it was definitely an honor to partner with the committee just to be a part of this and to move forward in what we have. So let me see. I don't know if there was a question here. No. So, all right. Well, other than that, again, thank you all for joining in. It is a pleasure to have you guys bring these questions to the table, and we look forward to continue to work together to build our community, as well as just kind of the partnerships of us gaining together.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you,
too.
Suki.
Bye, all.